Hey everybody, welcome back to the Dungeon Dive. Daniel here. I hope you're doing well, and if you're not, I hope you are soon. Okay, today on the Dungeon Dive, we are taking a look at Cartograph, a solo role-playing game of map making and discovery. This game was created by Brandon Lee, and Brandon did send this copy to me as a review copy. I've had it for quite a while, and it's taken me a long time to get to the table. Not because I haven't wanted to, but just because there is an abundance of amazing games to play. I don't know if you guys have noticed recently, and if you haven't, you should be noticing this, but we are truly living in a golden age of adventure gaming. It seems like every week there is at least one new game that is worth playing. And oftentimes there are multiple games released in a week that are worth checking out. And it is almost impossible to keep up on things. I mean, I am so far behind in my reviews. I have stacks and stacks of stuff that I need to get to the table. It is truly a remarkable time to be into adventure gaming, and just take a moment to be thankful for that and stop and reflect and just think about all of the great games that we have access to. But anyways, let's read a little bit about Cartograph. You have your parchment, you have your sextant, a new land stretches before you. All there is to do is discover it. Cartograph is a tabletop role-playing game about exploring a new world and creating a detailed map along the way. By the end of the game, you will have a brand new map ripe with cities, citizens, and history, perfect to use in another fantasy tabletop role-playing game. So yes, so this is a game that you can play before another game. You can use it as just its own game. You can use it to create a world to play in using another role-playing system. So to play Cartograph, you will need some kind of paper to draw on. I am using some hex paper because I thought maybe I might want to use this as a hex crawl for another game. You will need something to journal in. So this is a light journaling game, but you don't need to write a lot. I've been writing 1 or 2 sentences per prompt. You will need some kind of character cards, character sheet. You will have your name. So I am Kale the Cartographer. I am focused and I am a thrill seeker. You will need a place to keep track of your wounds. You can have 3 wounds, and one of the ways you lose the game is if you ever have to take a 4th wound. On your character sheet, you will need to keep track of your coins, your wares, your items, how much food you have, and your reputation. So a very simple character card there. You will need 3 different colors of dice of D6. So I have my yellow dice, my pink dice, and my gray dice. My pink dice are for landmarks. My yellow dice are for biomes. And my gray dice are temporary dice. And when those temporary dice are added to my dice pool, those can be used as either biome dice or landmark dice. Finally, you will need a standard deck of cards with the jokers in the deck, because drawing jokers is another way that you can lose the game. Whenever you draw your 3rd joker of the same color, and every time you draw a joker, you mix that joker back into the deck. But if you were to draw your 3rd black or your 3rd red joker, that would also trigger the end of the game, and then your map would be complete, or at least the adventure of that one cartographer would be complete. And you could always roll up another cartographer and have them continue on with the legacy that your original cartographers have started. So overall, the game is pretty simple, and it has a really nice rules reference in the back where it goes through step by step your exploration phase, your arrival phase, and your rest phase. And you just repeat those until the game ends, until you have a completed map or your adventurer has expired. You have a very simple exploration table for when you roll your dice pool. You have all of the things you can do in the settlement or in a wilderness when you are resting. And then you also have a journey table, because as you move from one location to the next, you will have to answer some brief adventure prompts. So let's talk a little bit about what Kale the cartographer has been up to so far, and then we'll do a sample turn. So I started in this campsite here, and Kale the cartographer, he heard some cries from help to the west of his campsite. And so I heard a cry from help to the west, and he ran to investigate. And then there was a landmark here, and it was a strange stone monolith etched with an alien language worshipped by a cult. The noise I heard was from a human sacrifice, so I decided to stay hidden. So there's the monolith there, and there's some cult members around there. I decided to rest in the wilderness, and in the wilderness, I conversed with another traveler, and I told the traveler to stay clear of the cult activity, and I camped for the night. After stumbling across this cult and monolith, I traveled a bit to the northeast here. I was looking for some kind of settlement, and I was heading towards the town of the Great Hold. But when I came across the town, it was in ruin. I drew my first Joker. On my second turn, it was the Black Joker. And so the cult activity had really creeped me out, but it also triggered my curiosity. Who are they? What do they worship? I quietly left the area and headed towards civilization, towards the town of Great Hold, but it was in ruins. They had been ransacked by the cult who kidnapped the elder's son for sacrifice. So this town of Great Ruins is recently in the town of Great Hold. I guess it is Great Ruins now, but this town of Great Hold is kind of smoldering. It's still on fire, and it's completely destroyed by this cult. So at the town of Great Hold, I decided to converse with the elder, and his name was Elder Samson, and I learned a bit about the cult. And they are called Servants of the Dead Eye. And so to roll up some information about the cult, I turned to the very handy Table Fables 2 by Madeline Hale. Of course, the ubiquitous Table Fables on the shelf of every solo role player known to mankind. But in chapter 10 here in the religion section, there is a really handy information to roll up things about your gods and also things about your cults. And so I rolled up the, what did we say here? The Servants of the Dead Eye. So all members have to pluck out an eyeball as part of their initiation. They have to pull it out with their own fingers and thumb. So that's what I thought of there. They are an evil cult. They worship an ancient deity named Boreal, known for human sacrifice, and they have about 3,000 followers, and they are kind of terrorizing this land here. And so we might have to figure out more about what they are up to and the kind of evil that they are doing. But a turn of Cartographer is pretty simple. The game book itself is nicely organized. I think this is one of the kind of better organized indie style RPGs that I've seen. There aren't a lot of ambiguous rules. Everything is very clear, and you get a nice overview. You get a nice detailed list of everything that you need, how to set up, how to create your cartographer. Again, it's very simple. There aren't really any stats. You do have one table towards the end here where you can roll up your cartographer's disposition and the thing that they value. And those are just kind of two things to keep in mind while you are playing. My guy, of course, again, was focused, and he's a thrill seeker. So once you roll up your cartographer, it'll walk you through the different resources. So there is a little bit of resource management in this game, and that's kind of where the gameplay comes into focus. Because one of the ways I said that you can lose is if you ever take a fourth wound. Another way, not really lose, but another way that the game can end, I should say, is if you ever run out of dice in your dice pool. And right now I have 3 dice in my pool. I have 2 yellow dice, which are biome dice, and I have a pink die, which is my landmark die. And you can trade resources for various dice to add to your pool. And you have wounds, you have coins and wares and reputation, food and items. I haven't found any items yet. And then the game book walks you through how to draw your map if you want some pointers on that. You don't need to be a great artist to draw the map for this game. You learn a little bit about your journal, how you should approach the journal, how you should approach your prompts, and then what triggers the end game. So yeah, if you have no more open slots for wounds, if you draw your third joker, or if you run out of dice. So there are 3 ways for the game to end. And then we get into our how to play. Really nice list here of the different definitions of your dice pool, of what settlements are, what the people are, locations, and ruins. And then the meat of the game here is in the cycle of play. So the first thing you do is, after assembling your dice pool, you will do your exploration phase. And that is where you will take your dice pool and you will roll those out on your map. And so right now I am in this city here, the ruined city of Great Hold. And you want to try to roll your dice somewhere right around where you are. So I just kind of cup the dice and throw them on the map here. So I'll remove my player marker there, and we'll put those down. And let's just kind of move those around a little bit. Okay, so we have a 6, a 4, and a 1. And now we can consult our table here. So we have our exploration table. What did you roll on your landmark dice, and what did you roll on your biome dice? I feel that the biome section is probably the weakest part of this game. It's just not very robust. And 2 of the things are kind of the same, and I'm not quite sure what the difference should be. So if you roll a 1 on a biome die, you have nothing. But if you roll a 4, you have open land. Those 2 things seem to be the same. I'm not sure if nothing means absolutely nothing, like the nothing from Neverending Story. Is it an area where absolutely nothing exists? I don't think so. I would have rather have seen something like maybe a sub-table where you might come across a swamp or a desert. So I am using nothing as a swamp. That's what I'm using that for. But you might find a mountain. If there are 2 dice that have a 2, then you might find a mountain range. You might find a lake. Again, if you roll 2 3s, then maybe it's a river. Here you have open land, which I would interpret as being grassland or plains or something like that. You might come across a forest, or you might have the same as the closest, or you can choose. And then on your landmark dice, so for me on the pink D6, you would find nothing, a town, a city, a settlement, or a discovery. So we have 4. So we have another city here. We don't know what that city is yet. So I'm going to remove the 4 and just put a C there in pencil to remember that that is a city. And we want to move towards the closest landmark. For the biomes here, we have 6. We have same as the closest, or we can choose. So this would be probably grasslands here still. So I'll just do this in pencil. And then you can go over it later in ink, as I did, as you continue to flesh out the map. And here we have nothing again. So I'm going to say that this is some kind of swamp area here. So I'm just going to quickly draw a little swamp area here. Okay, so my character was here. Kale the cartographer was here, and now I am going to travel to the closest landmark, which is this city again. So I will draw a little dotted line to show my travels there, and now we have reached the city. But the first thing we need to do is we need to figure out what our journey was like on our way to the city. And so we will draw 1 card from our deck and look at the suit. It is a diamonds. So diamonds, your travels were expedited by something unexpected. What quickened your journey and why? Gain 1 reputation. Okay, so my reputation is up to 4. Your reputation can go from negative to positive. If it's positive, you have a better chance of buying things in the settlement. If it's negative, then things might be more expensive because people are more hostile towards you, the lower your reputation is. So this was my journey part 3 here. So journey 3, it was expedited. And I think that Kale here is getting a little, he's scared of these cultists because these cultists are really up to no good. And so he kind of wants to get away from them as quickly as possible, even though he is also curious. He's focused on the thrill of figuring out what these cultists represent, what they are doing, how they are harming this world, what kind of terror they are unleashing across the land. but he also wants to get to a safe spot where he can maybe take a breather, because that was quite a rude awakening on his first day of travels to come across a human sacrifice. So I would write something like that in my journey. For my journey 3 here was wanting to get away from the cultists as quickly as possible. And why did my reputation go up? I think my reputation went up because I am bringing information to this city. I am bringing information about this cult. I've learned a little bit about them. I've learned that they are called the Servants of the Dead Eye, and the new city that I am going towards, they welcome that information. And so that's why my reputation went up. I am maybe warning them of this cult's activity, and maybe warning their guards to be vigilant. So if the cult is moving up towards this new settlement, maybe they can the guards can prevent them from attacking the city and taking another victim for a human sacrifice. So that's why my reputation went up. Okay, so now we need to figure out what kind of settlement this is here. The first thing we can do is we can roll up on the settlement names here, and you'll roll 3d6. So let's see what we have here. 3, 9. So we have great again. I'm going to go up one. I'm going to say that this city is called Gloom. What do we have? Gloom 14. Gloomguard. Okay, so we have the city of Gloomguard. So I'll write that down. Okay, and then we go to our city prompts here, and we will draw a card to see what kind of interaction we have in the city of Gloomguard. And we have a 4. Okay, 4. It's a bustling merchant city. Bold colors and decorated buildings line the streets. What does the city trade in? What diverse people do you see here? Gain 3 extra coin if you sell here. So we can sell our wares that we have. Wares are abstracted. You can, if you want, say what your wares are, if you're trading tea or spices or weapons or something like that. But I'm keeping things a little bit more abstract, so we can sell our wares here. But what does this city specialize in? Gloomguard. I'm going to say that this city actually specializes in weaponry, in selling weapons to other cities. This is a fortified city where people come and go, and they help to outfit other cities with weaponry in order to protect. And so this is a city of merchants selling weapons and armor. And there is a lot of hubbub going around. There's a lot of activity because of this cult activity. People from other towns around the land are coming to the city of Gloomguard to get outfitted so they can help protect against the various cult members. And so now there are a few things that we can do in a settlement. We've done our arrival phase, so we've choose a location. We drew a card. We consulted our journey table. We consulted our location table, and we have now named the location on the map. So this is just a normal settlement. So I will draw my little settlement icon there, which is a house. And I will say that this is S2. And I will trigger that over here. I will key that over here as S2 for Gloomguard. And I'll go in and pin and tighten that up a little bit at a later time. So now we have our rest phase. Our rest phase is we lose all temporary dice. So I don't have any temporary dice in my pool. We lose 1 other remaining dice. Okay, so I will discard another biome. If in a settlement, we roll a D3 to determine the ware value. So this is how much we can sell our wares for. Okay, so a 3, and we can also sell them for an additional, what was that? An additional 3 that we would get here. Gain 3 extra coin if you sell here. So I can actually sell this wares that I have for 6 coins. That's pretty good. I would probably want to do that. Gain coin equal to this settlement's ware value for each you sell. So I'm going to erase that 1 wares and give myself 6 coins. Coins are good because you can spend them to do extra actions, and you can spend them for other prompts. you can spend them to do other things. But here's the things that we can do in a settlement. Okay, we can converse. We can lose a coin to gain 1 temporary die. If in a town, gain a +1 temporary die. We can rest. We can gain 1 biome die. May lose 1 food to gain an additional. We can heal. We can lose a coin to remove a wound. So that's one of the ways that you can remove wounds in a settlement. Some wounds are permanent though, and those can't be those can't be removed. We can restock to gain 1 food or wear. We can sell, or we can shop. Draw 3 cards plus 1 card if in a city we are. Roll dice for each to determine the price. Consult the items table on page 29 to see what they offer. And you can buy 1 item. Let's see what items are available. I haven't seen any of the items yet. Hey, we have mounts. Help you get landmark dice. We have animal drawn wagons, an optical device, an assistant, hunting equipment. Oh, all kinds of cool stuff to help us out there. We can do 2 things in this town, but we can also spend a coin to take an additional action. I do need to add some dice to my pool here. I want some more landmark dice, but I only have 1 and I don't see another way to get a landmark die here. Let's see. The first thing I'll do is I'll converse to lose a coin. I'm down to 6 coins now. To gain 1 temporary die. So I'll add 1 temporary die to my pool. And then I will also rest to gain a biome die. So that's 2 actions. But I think I'm also going to... Right now I have 6 food because on my last turn I actually hunted. I was out in the wilderness and I hunted. And if you choose hunting as one of your actions, you get to roll a die and gain that much food. Let's see. I think I'll spend an additional coin. And I will go shopping. So draw 3 cards, plus 1 if you are in a city. We're in the city of Gloomguard. So let's draw 4 cards. 1, 2, 3, 4. And then let's see what they have here. Roll a die for each to determine the price. Okay, let's look to see what items we have available to purchase in Gloomguard here. Okay, the first one, we have a 2. We have an animal drawn wagon. Gain 1 landmark die and 1 biome die. You may carry up to 10 wares. Ooh, nice. How much is this? 1 coin. All right. Well, hey, you know, I'm pretty sure I'm going to be buying that. But let's see what else we have. 6. A region map. Gain 4 biome die. I don't really want any more biome die. I want to find more locations right now. Oh no, a joker. Okay, so we found our red joker. So let's look up the joker table. Whenever you draw a joker, you stop what you're doing and you consult the joker table. And here we go, our red joker. So this is our first red joker. A people you had previously visited track you down and confront you. What did you do to insult them? How do you react? I'm going to say that Elder Samson from the town of Greathold here, he actually sent a couple of guards to track me down to maybe make sure that I wasn't some kind of spy for the cult. And I had to convince them that I wasn't. And to do that, I gave them a coin to go back to help them rebuild their city of Greathold there. So I am now down to 4 coins. And now we can discard that red joker. Actually, the red joker gets shuffled back into the deck. So we have found our first red joker, and I've already drawn my first black joker. And then we will draw another card for our shopping. And we have an ace. Okay, I thought that was another joker at first. Okay, so we have 1 red joker. Just want to keep track of that. And let's see what else we have here. So we have, where's our shopping page? 29. So what else do we have? An ace, an animal mount. We have an optical device or a regional map. So I'm just going to buy the animal drawn wagon. So I will write that here. Animal drawn wagon. So I will lose another coin. So I think that brings me down to, I think 4 coins, 3 coins. Can't remember. I'll say 3 coins. And we do have that animal drawn wagon. So now we get 1 landmark and 1 biome die. So our dice pool has gone up quite a bit. So we have that 1 temporary die, and this can be used on my next roll, my next exploration roll, as either a biome or a landmark. We have 3 biome dice and 2 landmark dice. So my next turn, I'll be able to discover quite a bit. So yeah, so that is basically Cartographer. That's how it's played. I think this is a pretty fun little game. I've had a lot of time with it, a lot of fun time with it this morning. I wish that the biome table was more fleshed out. I wish there were more interesting biomes. I would like to see just a nice table, a sub-table to roll up for better, more interesting biomes, because it's fairly limited. The props, though, the prompts, I should say, are actually pretty interesting, and they do spark my imagination, and they do force me to come up with some interesting things, and that is something that I do like in these kinds of games. You do get some good tables here, so this item table is pretty interesting. We saw that. You have your prompts for when you visit a town, for when you visit a city, your various discoveries there, your forest prompts, your mountain prompts if you want to move into one of those, your lake prompts, or your open land prompts there if you're moving into open land and lakes. So yeah, this is interesting. It's a cool game. I think you could come up with a pretty cool map using this system, and then you could play another game in this map, moving from location to location and having various adventures. So, all right, you guys, well, I hope you enjoyed this brief look at Cartograph, a game from Brandon Lee. I will post a link to the game because it is a little hard to find. The name Cartograph is a little generic, and so it can be a little difficult to find. But I'll post a link to the game in case anybody is interested in picking up a copy. I hope you enjoyed this video, and we will talk to you later. Bye-bye.